Hello and welcome to your Security Boost podcast, in which we demystify security and simplify protection for your personal and business valuable assets. I am Yota Nikolaidou, your hostess. Let's get started. Hey there, I hope you're having a fantastic day and thank you so much for tuning in. So today we are going to talk about...
And I'm so glad to have here in the studio with me Yota Nikolaidou, the owner of the company Secure World Vision, and she is a cyber specialist. Would you say specialist?
I say mostly that I'm a security mechanic strategist because it's kind of different from, people understand the more generic terms, but in reality, technology and security are very strategic, that you have to be strategic right now in this time span to be correct, to do them right.
As we were just saying before we went on air, I think since we last spoke, new things have come out. It's constantly evolving and changing. It must be exhausting for you to keep up with it.
Well, there is one very important point here, because people choose most of the times big companies to collaborate with, but security and technology are moving so fast that you have to keep fresh.
Yes.
So startups are in a better place from knowledge-wise than the big companies because they are starting out. And the way it works is that technology companies, and especially in Silicon Valley, they create, like all companies, not just Silicon Valley, they create their, they do a strategic plan and they say we will get through these products, these types of products and these, versions of models that with time they have to stay focused on that. The new companies are starting from the beginning, so right now they are the most relevant and up to date to what is actually out there, and it's real.
The main subject that I wanted to speak to you about today was GDPR. General Data Protection Regulation, for those who don't know. We've been inundated as people, as companies too, with this lots of emails. Maybe you'd like to begin by giving us a definition for those not in the know about what GDPR was and is when it came into play on the 25th of May.
So first of all, data is the most valuable asset for everyone. They say that it's more valuable than oil now. And that is because all companies, all entities got interconnected with the Internet of Things. That means that all the world is connected, almost all the world is connected on the internet, and they exchange information for personal use, for business use. So all this data, when they came together, they have so much power because they can affect real lives.
Yes.
And there was before a regulation about data, but it wasn't so it wasn't including all these elements, all these components about public protection. And in 2012, when we got all this connectivity together, they realized that they have to do something. And they, all the entities, the governmental entities that are responsible for people in Europe and in the US, because they started in the US, but however, Europe is making a big difference because it's moving much faster than the US. Congress is trying to do something.
Europe is moving faster
right now, yes.
With regard to the regulations or the advancements of technology.
Well, we have Silicon Valley holding technology right now, but since systems were designed, the architectural part, how they work, since 1985, right now it's a big war between countries because the one who managed to design the new architecture of systems will be the power leader in the world for technology for the following 20-30 years. Okay. And that's according to Mr. Patterson, who is a computer architect.
So Europe now is moving very fast.
Yes, because they managed to get this regulation, which is very good for people, for public safety. And I can demonstrate that with an example.
Yes.
Last year, about this period of time, we had a very big breach from Equifax, which is an insurance company in the US. It's operating in the US, but 143 million people, which are from Canada, US, and even Europe in the UK were affected by that. And when I say affected, we have to understand that data are affecting human lives in so many ways,
Yes.
even in identity theft. So imagine that one day you go to your bank, you cannot find your money, someone is getting loans on your name, someone is using your name to operate on criminal activities, and you get involved on things that you have not done. So it's like someone else is taking over your life and is living your life without your knowledge.
Terrifying.
Yes, it's terrifying.
And that was from the breach of security from Equinox, that obviously they had all this data on file and people were able to steal it.
Yes, and they had sensitive information as well. So they had private information, which are, it's very important to know. Private information is like your name, your surname, your phone number, your address, and then we have even sensitive data which are related to medical records, to, sexual orientation, to anything related to very private things for people, even political beliefs. So these people were affected. Why? Because, of course, it was a mass attack, and there were so many mistakes in that process. And, of course, this case went to Congress. But the issue is that this information can be used to damage human lives, and a very a very big amount of people. And so how are they taking advantage of it? Because we have so many criminals operating online, they take this data and they sell them online for a coffee price. So you go to Starbucks to buy a coffee, and it's like you're buying a new identity card.
Wow.
You're buying an identity of someone else. And of course that's very important for people to protect. And no matter what we say, it's not the same like experiencing this.
No.
So
the thought is just horrific.
Yes.
And there isn't anything that's foolproof, is there?
No. But
there are certain things that you can make it more difficult, so they'll go on to their easier target.
I was listening to Marie Forleo this morning. She's a businesswoman from the US, and she's trying to make business fun. She's trying to connect it. And I think that security, I have the same approach with her. Security is not something difficult. It's something that needs the right base. If you have the base, then you can build from there, and you can avoid most of the attacks. Obviously, based on who we are, we have different threat level, we have different experiences, we are exposed to danger differently.
Yes.
But based on who we are, we can evaluate how we can be affected and what are the areas we can be affected, and from that we can build our security in order to protect ourselves as much as we can.
Yes.
But most times that's all we need. I mean, a normal person will not be affected like a VIP by a specific type of attack because he's not targeted in that way.
Yes. So we've got this data protection. It came into place on the 25th of May. There was an absolutely incredible deluge of emails, and I'm sure that there were others like me who thought, oh, thank heavens, this is actually like a God-sent gift that I can now get rid of all these people. I don't want to see all their emails. But to tell you the honest truth, it hasn't worked because I'm still receiving emails. So can you tell us how we had to become compliant from the different perspectives? So from emails, from website, from newsletters, and even from phone messages. Maybe you'd like to go through each stage to see what had to be done.
Of course. So first of all, yes, it is very important for people to know that they will not be interrupted. They will not be, having people introducing, getting through their lives and getting all these notifications and messages for things you don't really care about.
Yes.
You bought something once and they keep sending you messages.
Exactly.
Or they even stole your data or bought your data from someone else.
Yes.
So it's very important. Of course, yes, we go first with public protection, and then we go to all these levels that are more visible for people
Right.
in our daily lives. So let's start with emails. Email is a very good way to communicate, especially for online entrepreneurs who sell their products, and it's a very good tool.
Yes.
But you have to, as a business, you have to understand where you start and where you end with that. So if I sell something to someone and in a few months or in a few years I have to give them an update about that, it's okay to send them an email.
Yes.
But if I want to send them, they gave me for whatever reason they gave me their information, I cannot send them any kind of information or sell their information to someone else just because I want to get some kind of, business from them. We have to ask them, and that is what we call consent. So as I told you earlier before we start the program, there are different ways to be compliant with GDPR.
Yes.
Many people think that they need to have for everything consent. That's not true. So for example, if you are government and you need this information to protect the public for a catastrophe,
Yes.
you don't have to get their consent to send them a message. You can do it because it will protect them, let's say for a tsunami.
Right.
It's coming and you have to tell them to get out of their houses.
Right.
It's an extreme scenario.
Yes, I understand.
If it's for the safety of someone, so he's fading and he's allergic to something.
All right.
If you know the information, you have to give the information to the medical personnel who is coming to help them get well. So that is, again, it doesn't need a consent to give this information to the person responsible.
Yes.
But if you, for example, have medical records and you know that a lady is on a having an appointment with a doctor, and you want to tell it to someone else, you don't have the consent.
No.
You cannot say that.
No.
It's private information. So it's based on the concept. And for each one of us, mainly is that we receive emails, text messages, and most of the times they do it wrong. So you cannot say most of the emails and the messages are like this. Because we want to be compliant with GDPR,
Yes.
we are sending you this email to let you know that we will keep sending you information, and if you don't want, you have to send us a message or you have to call us. So it's a very important point. The way they get into your list or into your message
Yes.
group, they have to be the same way getting out. It has to be on the same level, not making it difficult for them to get out.
Yes.
So if I press a button to get on your list, because I found it interesting at some point, I have to still press a button to get out. I don't have to send you a message or write an email or, all these things that are gonna waste my time. If they had to go through that process, so they had to send you an email to get to your list, yes, they can still send you an email to get them out. But that's it. We have to be very careful how we give and take consent.
If we go to emails specifically, many I've clicked on and I've said unsubscribe. It says you are successfully unsubscribed, and lo and behold, the next day there comes another email from that same company.
Yes, and probably what they do is that they have different lists. So when they unsubscribed you from one of the lists, they didn't do it from all. And of course, they didn't give you the option to be removed from all the lists,
Right.
So it's basically, in order to be GDPR compliant, you have to take all these factors and you have to do it with a professional. You cannot think that, I heard somewhere that I have to request for a consent, or give them the unsubscribe at the bottom of the email and you are
Yes.
compliant. It doesn't work that way.
No.
And that is because there are 3 components in GDPR compliance, and that's very important. The first component is systems. And when I say systems, is how we have these systems to collect data, to share data, to destroy data, and I'm talking
Yes.
about the data of clients and
Yes.
people.
Yes.
The other component is the way we operate this system. So it's the policies and procedures we have in place.
Yes.
And it's kind of instructions how to use something.
Yes.
And the third component is people, because people, if they don't do it right, if they don't learn how to do it, they don't do it properly. And of course there is the legal component. So there is the legal part and there is the actual implementation part, which includes these 3 things: systems, policies and procedures, and people behavior.
You make it sound easy, but it isn't that easy, actually. It would probably be much safer and better to have a professional come in
When
and
I say
check, especially for companies.
When I say easy, it is easy if you don't do it correctly and with the right direction of a professional. So
Yes.
that's why I say, if you heard something that if I do that I will get compliant, it's not
No.
working like that.
I want to also ask about a specific company with CETA, for example.
Okay.
We are continually receiving spam emails.
Right. That's, yeah.
How does something like this happen? I cannot believe that a semi-government organization has actually sold the list, or it actually means that their systems are not secure.
Obviously, I have to see how they did it in order to find out
Yes.
what's the problem, but it might be, I will give some examples so that you
Yes,
can
general
understand how it can
examples,
go
yes.
wrong.
I mean, I wasn't picking on one company, but just because I'm...
Yes.
Yes.
So one of them is, yes, probably their systems are very easy for someone to put a USB, one employee or an ex-employee stealing the data and get them out.
It's that easy.
Yes, well, obviously I have to test their systems, but so far we don't have overall in Cyprus and worldwide
Yes.
many companies with very strict procedures and policies around systems and systems that are designed with security in mind. And that's very important because I said it before to you that
Yes.
security is the leg of technology.
Yes.
So as we move with technology, we have to keep up with security. Right now, security and public protection and technology are so correlated that you cannot take one out of the equation of the other.
Yes.
So systems will outdate with time. Even if you select the best systems in the world, in a couple of months or years, you have to revise and reevaluate and see what is going still okay and what you have to fix.
Yes.
So it might be a simple thing like someone sticking the USB, taking the data and using them. It can be something much worse, like a database which is, it's not properly protected, let's
Yes.
say it that way, and it's leaking data. It might be that they have a very secure database,
Yes.
but they do have a very weak password. So if your password is 1, 2, 3, 4,
Got it.
5, 6,
Yes, exclamation mark.
yeah, so it's very easy for anyone to get in, no matter how much the secure is,
Yes.
how much secure is the database, and that is because in security everything is correlated and connected.
Yes.
And we have to think all the levels. I like to explain it as having a very secure system in the middle of a field. No
Yes.
matter how secure it is, if there is no security around it,
yes.
yeah. And there is a very important example.
Actually, that's a very, very good example, because
Yeah.
I can just picture that immediately. We've got a field, and then we've got a fence, and then in order to get to the next building, we need another fence and another one and another one
Yes.
in order to get to the middle. And in the middle is where the bullseye is, and that's where all the data should be.
Yes,
Got
and
it.
that is how we build security in levels.
Very clever.
Because each level can be have its drawbacks.
Exactly.
There is nothing which is perfect. That's
Yes.
how we think in security.
Yes.
If it's not perfect, we have to cover it with something else. And obviously, the most important part is to think what is essential and important to protect. Because if I have a database online which I have all my social media posts, what can happen? They can steal it, okay. If I have a backup somewhere, I can still post them.
Yes.
It's not something
it's not
important
dire.
to
Yes.
steal. But if you have intellectual property,
Yes.
you have all your work, and one day you find your systems, not be able to be operated, you don't have access to your data, you cannot send emails to your clients, then it becomes an issue. So
Yes.
we first define what we want to protect, and then we build these levels around it to protect them.
Right.
So it's simple as you know how to do it properly.
Yes.
I cannot wait to hear your comments, so leave them below or head to iotanikolaidou.com and let's continue the conversation. You will find the link in the description of this episode. Have a great day, and until next Monday, stay safe.